Everywhere, online, offline, people are asking, when is the Tuscaloosa real estate market going to crash? And I'm here to tell you in this video today a couple reasons why it hasn't crashed, why I don't think it's going to crash, but there is one doomsday scenario that I can think of. There might be more, but one for sure that I'll talk about in this video that could cause the Tuscaloosa real estate market to crash. I'm Phil Duke Jr. with eXp Realty, and we're going to go through all that in the video. And I just want to stop real quick before we jump into it. If you need any help with anything real estate related, I have literally helped hundreds of people in the Tuscaloosa area buy, sell, and invest. It's what I do all day, every day. And that's my phone number there on the screen. You can also click the link below and you can find my calendar and you can schedule a time to do a phone call or a video chat whenever works for you. I love it when people from YouTube reach out. I love talking to you and helping you. And it may be that Tuscaloosa is not for you. I'd rather us find that out on a call than you waste a bunch of time and energy and money by buying something that may not be a good fit for you. So feel free to always reach out. Now let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. So, people have been sitting on the sidelines for several years waiting for a crash to happen. The prices of Tuscaloosa real estate have gone up drastically over the last few years, right? It's kind of slowed down a lot over the last, 12 to 18 months or so. But there's literally been houses that I helped somebody buy for, 149.9 back, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Those houses today are selling for $275,000 to $300,000. Now, it's not going to keep going up that drastically unless one thing happens, which could be good or bad. I don't see it going up that drastically, but prices are still moving up in Tuscaloosa. They're not really going down. We haven't really seen much of an adjustment. The really good houses are still selling for full price. They're selling quickly. And I think that's a trend that's going to continue. And I'm going to share with you why that is. Number one is we still have fairly low inventory. We're sitting right now at the numbers that I pulled earlier. We have about 2.5 months worth of inventory. And what that means for those that are not in the real estate business, what that means is if the same number of houses sold last month, that number of houses sells again this month and no new houses come on the market and they keep selling at the rate that they are now, in about 2.5 months, we will be out of inventory. Now, we know that's not going to happen. There's new listings hitting the market every day, but that's a good way for us to measure whether we are in a seller's market or a buyer's market. Now, normally, if we have less than 6 months of inventory, it's typically called a seller's market. But I will tell you right now, that's not necessarily the case. This is not 2021. This is not 2022, where houses are hitting the market and you better get a full price or above offer in within 24 to 48 hours, or you're not even going to have a chance. That's not really the market that we're seeing right now. And one of the main reasons why is that because of the higher interest rates, which, by the way, they are coming down, and hopefully there will be a couple more drops over the next 6 to 12 months. There's a lot of buyers just sitting on the sideline waiting for for interest rates to drop before they get back in the game. So when a great house hits the market, we're not getting flooded with showings the way we were just a couple years ago. In fact, right now, I would say it's fairly common on new listings that I'm putting on the market. We put it on the market, and over the first 7 days, we're getting a handful of showings. 3 to 5 showings in a week's time. And just historically, right, the numbers that we look for in a normal market, which is kind of what we're in right now, for a house to sell, they typically need to get 2 to 3 showings per week and 1 offer for every 12 showings. Now, what's happening right now is it's taking sometimes several weeks for a new listing to get those 12 showings. But honestly, We don't know if it's going to be the first showing or the 12th showing or the 18th showing that's going to be the one to bring the offer. So I would say we also are seeing still really good properties that are presented correctly, that are priced correctly in the beginning, are hitting the market, and it's still not uncommon for within 24 to 48 hours for them to receive an offer and accept that offer. So if you're thinking about buying in the Tuscaloosa area, you're probably noticing on realtor.com and on Zillow, you're probably seeing some listings sitting on the market a little bit longer. I would say a lot of times there's something causing that house to not sell. It's either not priced right, or the pictures make it look way better than it is. There's something about that particular property or the location of that property that may be causing it to sit there a little bit longer. But the really, really good ones that hit the market are still going pretty fast. And there's starting to be a greater divide between the really good ones and the ones that aren't so good, right? Buyers are paying premium prices right now compared to a few years ago. They are paying a premium price and a premium interest rate. So the houses that are not premium homes, that are not totally move-in ready, that still have some issues, whether that's paint, flooring, landscaping, curb appeal, outdated appliances, outdated kitchens, outdated bathrooms, people aren't paying premium prices and premium interest rates for properties that aren't premium properties. Okay, so that's good and bad, right? We'll get to that more here in just a second. We still have a strong local demand. Okay, Tuscaloosa, compared to other areas of the country, is still a very affordable market to live in. In fact, if you click the link below, I've got my 2025 relocation guide, and you can see how Tuscaloosa compares to a few other relocation destinations. I compare Tuscaloosa to Nashville, Tennessee, to Dallas, Texas, and you can see why people are still wanting to come to Tuscaloosa, right? We have pretty good weather here, stays pretty warm. It doesn't get very cold for long. If it gets cold here, it's only cold for a few days. We have great public schools. We have three universities, or three colleges here: Shelton State Community College, Stillman College, and the University of Alabama. There's a couple others nearby as well where you could commute or you could go to school online. So Tuscaloosa is still a very popular place to live. We're not really seeing people moving away from Tuscaloosa in droves. In fact, we're gaining more people than we are losing people, according to the census data that's in that relocation guide. Okay, Tuscaloosa is a relocation destination, right? University of Alabama has more than doubled since 15 years ago, right? I guess it was 18 years ago that the University of Alabama hired Nick Saban to come here to be the head football coach and to bring us back to where we had been before in college football. And since that happened, the student population on the university has more than doubled. It was around 18,000. The last thing that I saw just one day this past week was that enrollment is around 38,000. So the campus has more than doubled in student population. It is the number one employer in this area, but it's not just the University of Alabama, right? Our hospital's growing. The Mercedes-Benz factory and all of its suppliers that are in the local area, that is continuing to grow. Nucor Steel, Pfeiffer Wire, the BF Goodrich Michelin tire plant. There is a lot of industry in Tuscaloosa, and these big corporations are seeing that they could move to Tuscaloosa, whether they're in the city or on the outskirts. They could buy property more affordably. There's plenty of people here looking to take those jobs. It's a great town for families to move to take these jobs because of all the things that we have here. So Tuscaloosa is absolutely one of the top relocation destinations in the Southeast right now for those reasons. Now, what could change? What could change? Could the market crash? There's a couple scenarios that I could see where it possibly could. And hopefully these are kind of doomsday scenarios, because what I have seen over the years, as other markets out there are having big, rises and falls, Tuscaloosa just kind of stays steady. It continually, prices continually go up, not as fast as they do in other parts of the country, but they still go up, right? And so what I would expect 2025, 2026 and beyond is that is going to continue. But what could change? Now, I'll tell you, when Nick Saban was the coach here at Alabama, and we had, 15 years in a row of winning 10 games or more, continually being in the hunt for a football national championship, the University of Alabama was the cool place to go. They were dominating college football. And it's not just football, right? We've got a good basketball team now. Softball has been at the top. Baseball is starting to get up there. We have several other, sports out there where the University of Alabama is doing really, really well. But what happens if the new coach, the new regime, is not able to maintain that? Will Tuscaloosa and the University of Alabama continue to be a strong relocation destination? Will they be able to maintain or grow beyond 38,000 students being enrolled? I don't know. I don't know. I've been here for a long time. My family has been here since 1996. We had season tickets back when Alabama won 3 games and lost 8 games in one year. We were 3-8, believe it or not. I was there for a 4-7 season. We won 4 games and we lost 7. We fired a bunch of coaches. Alabama was not the cool place to be at that time. So now you could make the argument, well, where else would they go? Where would be the next destination? In this new college football world where college football players are being paid, where they have NIL opportunities, where they can transfer, Alabama has a long history of being at the top of college football. It wasn't just during the Nick Saban era. We had a lot of coaches before Nick Saban that won national championships. I'm sure we will have others. But could that, in the short term, in the next 5 to 10 years, could that affect enrollment at the University of Alabama? Could it affect how many staff and employees the University of Alabama needs because of that? It could. But I will tell you, I don't think we're anywhere near that yet. I know we missed the playoffs last year in football, but I think we've got a long, long ways to go before Alabama gets there. We still have a stadium that holds 102,000 people. It's still an awesome place to go tailgate. It's an awesome place to go to a football game. It's still one of the premier destinations in the country for college football. I think it would take a lot more for us to not be there. Okay. So could that happen? Yes. What could also happen? A lot of people are sitting on the sidelines right now, been waiting for the housing market to tank. We also have people waiting for interest rates to drop. What's going to happen when interest rates drop? Well, if interest rates if they get below 5% again, we're going to be back to that point where people will be putting in multiple offers. Properties will be selling above list price. You won't have much negotiation room for the seller to pay your closing cost, and prices are going to go up way, way faster than what they have the last 2 years. The last 2 years, they've gone up, but it's been much slower and much more normal, right? 2 to 3% per year is kind of normal. That's kind of what we've seen the last 2 years. That could change if interest rates drop again below 5%, right? I don't think it'll be as extreme as what it was during COVID, during 2020, 2021, 2022. But I do think we will see people who have been sitting on the sidelines waiting to make a move. They will decide to sell their properties, cash out on those properties, and buy new ones, right? They'll either upgrade to a bigger house, when the interest rates drop, or they'll sell that house they have, put that cash on a smaller house, they'll downsize, and the real estate market will be on fire at that point. But if you buy property now, and this is what I would encourage you to think about, if you buy property now before that happens and prices go up, you're going to be sitting on a tremendous amount of equity. So if you're thinking about buying a property, you don't know for sure whether Tuscaloosa is really for you, right now is a great time to buy, because I do think the interest rate reductions are coming. I think we will see it spike up a little bit. I don't know if it'll be for 2 or 3 years like what we saw during COVID, but what if it's for 6 months? What if it's for 9 months? What if it's for 12 months? Buying a property now and sitting back and waiting on the market to go up again is a smart move, right? The house that I live in right now, I had a tremendous jump in equity in my home. I bought it in 2017 before COVID, before the market went up. And I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what will happen when the market goes back up again, if those interest rates get back down, because I'm already sitting on a great amount of equity. And I would love to see that happen 1 or 2 more times before I sell that property. Okay. So it could happen. It could be good, or it could be bad. We don't know. Prices haven't gone down. If anything, they're going to continue to go up. And right now is a great opportunity to buy, even with higher interest rates. If the interest rates do go down, we have lenders right now that are already offering incentives to where if you lock in an interest rate today, let's say you lock it in at 6% today, interest rates do go down to 4.8% in the next 12 to 18 months, they will let you refinance at the lower rate without paying any additional closing costs. So just want you to know that's a thing that's out there. You could lock in today's prices, wait for interest rates to drop, and you can always refinance later, right? I was lucky enough to do that. I think my interest rate in 2017 was like around 4.5%, 4.6%, something like that. When rates dropped in 2019 down to 2.25% for a VA loan, again, I'm a veteran. I've been in the military for 17 years as a reservist. I still do my 1 weekend a month. So I was able to get a 30-year VA loan for 2.25% interest. I did it at the 2017 price. Okay. I probably won't get that deal again. So I'm probably staying put for at least a little while longer. But you could go ahead and buy at today's prices, with things kind of being steady, with things kind of being a fair market right now. You could buy at today's prices, and if interest rates do go down, like what the current administration is pushing for, you can always refinance at the lower rates. Okay. So that's where we're at today. I do think those reductions are coming. I don't know for sure what the timeline is. I've heard so many different things. I listen to stuff on an almost daily basis. I would just make the assumption that they probably are coming. They're probably not going to be down to 2.25%, 2.5%, 3%. I think we're probably looking at, if they do get to where the current administration wants, we're probably going to be around 5%. I think that would probably be the low. And honestly, we're not too far away from that now. We're in the low 6s right now, depending on which lender and which loan program you go with. So I do think that is coming. I do think we will see prices go up. People will want to get back in the real estate game at that point. People that are sitting on equity will sell. They'll buy that house they want, lock in that lower interest rate during that time. And for those of us that currently own houses, if you locked in at a higher rate, you can always refinance. Okay. So 2026 and beyond, what is coming? I think we'll see more of the same. I think we will see steady jumps in prices, more of a normal type market. It's going to keep going up, not going to go up as extreme as it did during 2019, 2020, 2021. But the outlier there is we don't know for sure what's going to happen to interest rates. That is the great unknown right now. So if interest rates drop quickly, we could get back to 2019, 2020, 2021, even if it's just for a couple months. Okay. So I don't know, but I will just tell you over the long haul for the Tuscaloosa market, we tend to just be steady. We tend to be steadily going up, not this huge ups and downs. We don't have the peaks and valleys that some markets have business partners at eXp Realty that are in other markets, and they're seeing 25% reductions in prices this year compared to last year. We're not seeing that here. Tuscaloosa has always been safe, steady. You know, the factors at play are in our favor, regardless of what happens with football. We still have great schools. We still have a lot of jobs. We still have great weather here. Regardless of what happens to interest rates, you know, I think people are going to continue to relocate here. People who live here already are going to want to stay here. They're going to relocate within the city. They're going to go from one neighborhood to another, from one school zone to another. So I think things overall are looking really good for the Tuscaloosa market, okay? And again, as always, if you have any questions about anything related to real estate in the Tuscaloosa market, you can always reach out to me. That is my personal cell phone number on the screen, or you can click the link below. You can find a time on my calendar and we can schedule a phone call or a video chat to talk about whatever it is you have questions about. I'm Phil Duke Jr. with eXp Realty. Thanks for watching this video. Look forward to talking to you real soon.